Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack to flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew? It's your boy DJ New Kid, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel, man. We got Sunny V2 with why Chris will soon be a nightmare for MrBeast. If y'all don't know who MrBeast is, hey, go check out Jimmy's channel, man. He does a lot of giveaways. That's basically how a lot of people know him by. Some people been there, from, you know what I'm saying, since day one, seen his, like his video game content, you know what I'm saying, his gaming content, and seen him from the start. When
did we come across
2018? 2017?
Why did I say 2017?
Yeah, it's the old spot. But
it was at the old spot. I do remember.
I think about 2017.
But I can't remember like what the video was.
Yeah. No, I can't remember either. But it was like 2017, 2018. One of those 2 years.
Rolling over, something like that.
Something like that. Around that time. But if you don't know, he's had people come and go. Yeah. He's had a lot of different people who have worked for him, who have faded off. Chris is one of those who's, I feel like, been around since we came across him.
Since we came across, yeah.
But we do know the background story of what's going on with Chris. I have seen the controversy surrounding it on the side of what Sunny might be talking about. So before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go, man. You want to first support, all you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
like it with a thumbs up.
Or you can hit us with a super thanks. Hey, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
but with that being said, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast's brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I quote look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting
do we see any resemblance?
You could still tell it's the same person.
It's just, and I ain't gonna hold you with the nail paint thing. I have been spotted Chris with the nails, but a lot of dudes start painting the nails.
Yeah, so like with that, I never like thought anything, you know, other than okay, I understand that that's something that a lot of guys are doing now.
Which, you know what I'm saying, to each his own.
Yeah, to each his own.
Then I noticed he started growing his hair out. Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. I've been cool with a lot of white guys. They do all type of things with the hair.
Yeah.
I ain't peeped none of it. I'm like, sometimes y'all go through a phase where y'all grow your hair out. Sometimes you go through a phase of growing your beard out. Yeah. Sometimes you want to cut it off. It want to be naked face and want to.
It's whatever.
It is what it is. I never paid attention to it. I think I started peeping some things out like more recently. Yeah. But I still didn't pay no attention to it till I told you about it the other day, and I was like, "Yo, you see this MrBeast drama?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" And then you saw things I didn't see and informed me about it, but I ain't peep none of it. I just was like, "Hey, do you what?"
Yeah.
Pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance? Prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better." Yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted prompted comments such as, Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother. Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating how did Chris go from this to this, while others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty ridiculous as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for
What? Go ahead. I didn't know that. Hold on. I know.
And Chris had come out.
You want to read it out
No,
loud?
I didn't want to read it. I just wanted to see who, like, was it him? Did he post it himself, or did somebody talking about it, about him coming out? But, I mean, okay, that's it.
When I was 16, I got a lot of niggas. And if you read it, oh my bad, I did sorry. Should I read it for everybody?
If you want to.
Also, I want to use my alt to let to let everyone know that I am bisexual. And when I told the few people I did when I was 16, I got a lot of negative backlash from friends/family. Just know if the people around you don't love and support you, we always will. So honestly, maybe he always have been feeling like this. His first thing was, oh, well, I'm just bisexual. Yeah. Which, you know what I'm saying? Some people do first come out as bisexual and then they let the world know that, hey, I'm actually am. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Hey, it's to each his own. But obviously he knew this is who he was when he was younger. As a teen, you know what I'm saying? Never know.
Bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. "There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times." Chris responded to this comment by,
"I ain't gonna hold you, that's hard, bruh. Like that's tough. But I ain't gonna lie, when you in the spotlight, you gotta understand everything's gonna come with it, bro. Especially as a bigger spotlight." Mm-hmm. And because my thing is, when you think about MrBeast, who all you think about? If you think of MrBeast outside of MrBeast's group, most people think about Chandler. Mm-hmm. All right, Chandler, he's been there, you know what I'm saying, riding for years. Mm-hmm. Then you think about Chris. Mm-hmm. Then maybe Carl. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But you also think about all the others who have came and gone as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was dude, the Viking dude? You know what I'm saying? The big dude, even the black guys that have came and gone. But you know what I'm saying? You start thinking about other people. But after Chandler, as MrBeast, I think folks think about Chandler.
Definitely those three.
Then Chris. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And your reputation is just about big as MrBeast's reputation is. You know what I'm saying? As far because you have solidifies your name right next to his. So outside, like if you're like, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
You even like, cause even when MrBeast did all his Beast Burgers, he had y'all all to do y'all own spinoffs as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like with the title, I don't know if he'll be a nightmare, but I do feel like MrBeast will feel some type of impact behind.
Or, like what was in parentheses, or may be a benefit for him as well.
Maybe.
So, who knows? It honestly, for me, looking at it, it honestly depends on the people that's in the circle and how they take it and how they deal with it. Other than that...
Only reason why I say I feel like he will receive some backlash because this already has been.
Yeah, you're going to receive some type of backlash because everyone has an opinion about everyone else's life.
True.
So,
true.
Yeah, but whatever.
And weak men create hard times. Weak man times. Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker." Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure?" Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire.
And I'll also say this. We really don't know what conversation these people have had with him previously before.
Yeah.
He might have already told everybody in the circle what was going on, what he was feeling, even when he was starting the process, because 9 times out of 10, I'm sure MrBeast is a corporation. I'm sure they have insurance. I'm sure through insurance policy, he's getting taken care of as well. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know what conversation he might have had with his previous wife. I don't know if they're still married. I just know they said they were separated. So I don't know if they have completely gone their separate ways. But he might have had a conversation with her as well and told her, and she probably had decided, I'm going to let you do you, or she could have disagreed with it. We don't know because she hasn't came out and said anything to even try to voice her opinion on how she might feel or their child might feel about the situation. So all this stuff is speculation and semi-bullying online as far as regarding to his kids and his wife, because you got to let them have their own voice into their matter. But as the fans, don't target him trying to use his family and what he was doing, because y'all don't know the conversation that might have had. Or him not being
a great father because he's decided, you know. Yeah,
like you gotta understand, staying a fan or supporter, you gotta stay in your place. You know what I'm saying? If you disagree with it, it's clearly you can easily stop following MrBeast, unsubscribe to him, and just don't tune into it. Don't
support it and go on about your day.
And then you can, if you want to, you can voice your opinion to MrBeast. Be like, hey, I just can't support that by my beliefs, and I choose not to. You know what I'm saying? And you could, I feel like you should be able to voice that. You know what I'm saying? Because they want you to voice when stuff is good, be able to take it when it's bad. But don't target him
just blatantly
attacking him based off, hey, what are your kid is gonna think? Like, you don't know what his kid might have already. They might have already had the conversation with the child.
I don't know how old his son is. So with the conversation, you can still. I mean, if he's old enough to like talk and understand, I guess you can still have the conversation. But I don't know how old he is. So.
In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life. In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, until in a recent livestream titled Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes, Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude, nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude, nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Awkward.
I ain't gonna hold you. If you watch Mr. Beast's live stuff, it always is kind of awkward. Even like the one that I watched with the rock, paper, scissors one day. I was editing videos.
Oh, okay.
You remember I told you about the rock, paper, scissors, and they were going through the whole group of people. Yeah. And it was, remember I showed you, and then he was giving a people who lost a giveaway. Yeah. You remember, because after the video, you'll be like, oh yeah, I do remember that.
I'm trying to remember.
Just say right now, I can't.
Right now, I cannot recall.
Okay, but even during then, it was awkward because they were like, oh, what should we? It just felt organized awkward. And so when the camera is live.
So is this unorganized awkward, or is this just awkward?
I haven't watched the video.
Okay.
So
because I need to watch the video like in its entirety to understand like what was going on before, what was the conversation, because maybe, I don't know, but right now just this clip, it is awkward. And
let me say this. Carl and Mr. Jimmy have been the main ones who came out and supported him. We, again, they haven't stated, but we don't know how the other people in the room might feel.
We don't.
So we don't know if they feeling awkward or not. So it might feel a little awkward to them to be in this environment, and some of the jokes are being said. We don't know how they're taking the jokes. So it might be awkward for everyone, even though Jimmy and Carl say, hey, we support because we're friends, but that doesn't also mean they agree. Yeah. Supporting and agreeing with it is totally different. Yeah. And so you just can't roll with it.
However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my views if I got it.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval approval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
So let me say this, because we already known about the whole situation and the drama behind it before the Sonny V video. But like I told you previously before, I feel like with them being such close friends like they already are, I feel like if Chris, you know what I'm saying, out of selfishness, if y'all are true friends, you got to put your selfishness to the side, right? If you've been a true friend, I feel if Chris, being a true friend, if he deems it might be too much for Jimmy, I feel like Chris would be like, hey, I'll step back. And like I told you before, it might becomes a time where you might see Chris take more of a back row. Yeah. Jimmy won't get rid of him, but he'll like falls into the back and be seen on camera every now and then, but not as often.
But then I think that'll fall into account of what he mentioned. It'll be like that background type of noise as to people speculating on
but
why
that's
he's not in so many videos. Are they pushing him out, or
he could just say, hey, I took a different direction, and I took a more creative control direction, and I help out more with the background scenes and stuff. Because at the end of the day, as a friend, sometimes you got to look at your person and say, hey man, maybe I'm hurting you because by my choices, and even though I know you are very appreciative, right? Not appreciative, even though I'm supportive of what I'm doing, I don't want it to discourage what you have going on. So I'm gonna still be around to support and help out the way I can, but I might just step into the background, and I'll come out when need be. You know what I'm saying? If you want me in a video here and there, I don't have to be in every video. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It could go into a direction like that. If it gets to a point
where he sees that it's hurting, you know, or whatever, the channel or whatever, then I mean, I guess that's the thing.
In all honesty, I've seen all of them kind of take a backstep. I don't see Chandler in the videos as much as we used to see. Chandler used to be the butt of everybody, all the jokes in the videos. Yeah, I don't see him as much. Carl, I think Carl stepped up more. I remember when Carl first came on the scene. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I don't know. It's just like it could be a nightmare for MrBeast. Reason why. Because he has to now try to balance both directions. Yeah. I'm gonna still support you, but I don't want to constantly be attacked because they're not gonna attack Chris just 100%. They're gonna attack. Because it's kind of like a thing, like double-sided sword. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Like I'm supporting my friend, but then if I be like, hey, I don't want you in so many, then I'm gonna get attacked because it's gonna make it seem like, oh, you know how that is, and they'll be trying to like, oh, we're gonna have to, you know, that council culture and stuff like that. And then it's kind of like if you leave them in there and it's hurting, you know, the channel's hurting the business, then it's kind of like, what do you do? What kind of tough decision do you make? Yeah, so and either way it goes, it's 100% it's a tough decision.
But at the end of the day, that'll be a decision that they will have to sit down and come to some type of agreement or whatever the case. Or it's like either MrBeast, I don't care. Like,
or you might start seeing people around that don't agree. Step away.
Let's step away. Like,
you just gotta realize that, you know what I'm saying? Just because, and that's what the world fail to realize. Just because you might agree with something and you want to say it, that doesn't mean everybody agrees with it. You know what I'm saying? So you might start seeing people say, "Hey, just out of my morality, I still love you as a friend. I just don't support that." So you gotta, in the end, you gotta respect that too, right? Yeah. So hey, I don't know. It could be a nightmare for MrBeast. Just having to deal with it from all
or right now it could be a thing, or people, you know, getting used to seeing him in, you know, this light, but we'll see. Yeah,
and that's what you just said is how to end it all. You just have to wait out and see. But y'all spam us up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts and opinions in the comments, man. But as always, I do go by the name DJ Kid. This is we are.
Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar.